What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Real Fan Sports. My name is Zach. I'm in the building with Nonpfixion. What's good with you, Non?
Man, I'm here, baby. Let's get it in. Let's get it in.
Come on. So this is what we got today. We did some TT Isle of Man. Now, a lot of people requested in that we need to check out some sidecar racing. They say it's crazy.
Okay.
It's even more dangerous, that they have even bigger cojones than those that ride just the supercars. So
Really?
I got to see it.
Okay, let's get it.
Let's do it. The dangerous world of sidecar racing.
These are sidecar races, a real madness, are three-wheeled motorcycles that can reach 160 kilometers per hour in the residential streets of the Isle of Man. But the most curious thing is that it takes two people to drive them, one piloting and the other managing the balance of the vehicle and controlling it at that speed with walls, curbs, and blind corners must be terrifying, especially for the non-driver.
Now, so I've seen.
Go ahead.
I've seen, I've seen motorcycles. I've seen regular cars, supercars. NASCAR. I've seen a little bit of that, but I don't think I've ever seen this one before. I don't think I've ever seen this.
I've heard of sidecars, and I know what they are, but I've never seen sidecar racing. And I really didn't know what to expect whenever they, told us we should check this out. But this definitely wasn't it. I didn't realize it's just a dude literally on the side of the motorcycle that's just balancing everything. My dude is just he gotta have some stickum, some Elmer's glue on his hands to make sure he don't fall off, or tied on something. Right?
I was thinking of actual traditional sidecar, not that kind of sidecar. But that thing is so low to the ground. Goodness gracious.
So today, we are going to explain the engineering and the incredible driving skill behind sidecar racing. This is a formula.
Crazy.
And I think they said, top speed of 160 kilometers per hour? Let's see what that is. 160 kmh. I think that's something like 90? Yeah, 99. So they go up to 100 miles per hour, and this dude's just dangling off the side of it. Okay, got it.
Two sidecar with around 130 horsepower, 350 kilogram, including the two riders, and a top speed of over 260 kilometers per hour. They run on standard 4-stroke, 600 cubic centimeter motors.
Wait. Did you just say even faster numbers?
Per hour. They including the two riders and the top speed of over 260 kilometers.
Oh, top speed 260. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's just make it even more insane and make it 161 miles per hour.
Man.
They run on standard 4-stroke, 600 cubic centimeter motorcycle engines with racing slicks. The speed at which they go is spectacular. Sidecar racing is brutal, with many different categories, from circuits such as Brands Hatch and Alton Park to the most terrifying of all, the Isle of Man Snuffle Mountain Circuit or Isle of Man Tourist Trophy. It is statistically the most dangerous race in the world, and by far the number of terrible accidents is endless, but despite this, hundreds of motorcycle and sidecar riders show up every year to take on the challenge. Although we often complain that nowadays circuits are made too safe with large asphalt loopholes, the risks in the Tourist Trophy are much higher than I personally would run.
Well, you would think so, huh? A little too risky for you to do. Yeah, same with 99.99% of the world. The people that are doing are the only crazy ones enough to do it. What the hell, man?
Calculation or mechanical failure could send you off a cliff or simply burst into a brick wall. The track winds through narrow island roads for 60 km with narrow sections, and other more open or intertwined sections where riders spend several minutes practically flat out. These sidecars drive an average of 193 km per hour through these 200 curves.
Oh my God.
To put this in context, the top superbike class.
That's what it looks like. It's just like a rail. He got some gloves on, and he's just holding on to the rail. It looks like his foot might be able to get slide into something too as well, I guess, to keep him there. Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Which is much lighter and averages 210 kilometers per hour, is a time attack or time trial that takes place over 15 days divided into a week of training where they take advantage of every minute and another week for the races. The riders start 10 seconds apart. So while you're racing against the clock, if you're fast, you also have to make some not so easy overtakes. If you want to see images of the race, you can consult the channel Free Willing OTRI Hewland, where they provide a lot of graphic material and from which we have nourished for this video. This track would already be terrifying in a car with 4 wheels, a roll cage, a driver, and the ability to take left and right turns at the same kind of speed. But sidecars don't have any of those things before we get into a bit of jargon. The sidecar itself is called an assembly, the person on the right is called a rider, and the crazy person who gets out is called a passenger. However,
okay, so it's not just us. It's not just other things that the guy's crazy. Okay,
Yeah,
I feel okay now.
mentally unstable for sure.
from an engineering perspective, what makes these sidecars so unusual is that they are not symmetrical. They have two wheels in line and then another one on one of the sides. When you race cars, whether in touring cars, GTs or single-seaters, you have an idea of the turning ability of the vehicle that applies to both left and right. However, these sidecars actually take right turns much faster than left turns, and that's set to support the extra sidecar wheel, while on left turns it tends to want to tip over.
Oh my
Years
god.
ago, these assemblies used to look more like a motorcycle with a sidecar, however now they're custom racing parts with advanced aerodynamics, much improved performance. They are driven by a single rear wheel behind the rider, and are steered by the front wheel through very small handlebars. They can also outperform superbikes, thanks to huge slick tires and huge car
They
brakes
can
that stop all
outperform
three.
super bikes. That's kind of crazy.
The thing is like built like a bobsled. Like it's so aerodynamic. And like you can even tell when they hit those straightaways, the passenger, the crazy one, he's laying flat down because they don't want any of him to break up. So like he's just in there kind of blind for a little bit until I'm assuming his partner is like, all right, get up, lean, like, you know. What the
wheel.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Look at this, deflated racing tires instead of round motorcycle tires, so they have much larger contact patches and that gives them more grip in corners and especially in braking. And now the question you're probably all asking yourself, what about the guy in the back? Well, they're called passengers, or more informally monkeys, and the truth is that it makes a lot of sense. These guys have to
Monkeys. I guess how they hold on and stuff like that. I don't know.
be incredibly fit to withstand those speeds and G-forces. Their function is to maintain the balance of the assembly. Without them, the sidecar simply would not work. It would be several minutes per lap slower on this circuit. The so-called passengers hold on as best they can by staying out of the airflow on the straights and then hanging on both sides in the corners, which basically compensates for the imbalance of the weights in the sidecar. On the right-hand corners, they climb.
This dude is like full blown on that, like Superman. Like his legs are going straight back and he's just holding on like that.
I was looking at that like that looks crazy.
Over the rider to keep the weight and tires inside. Then on the left-hand corners they hang precariously over the side of the bike, and this is the part that looks really dangerous and difficult. They often even slide with their backs on the track surface and even fall if the rider makes a mistake. Along the straight they hide so as not to brake with the air, then appear in the braking zone to add as much air resistance as possible, and when the rider turns into the corner they have to get into position carefully but quickly so that the bike grips steadily. In cars a regressive braking is done. I'll explain it to you. Brake pressure is gently released when entering curves in order to transfer the weight as smoothly as possible. But in a sidecar, while the rider is doing the same thing, the passenger is also moving. It must be very difficult to coordinate the two perfectly. Some passengers even count seconds or remember the bumps on the track, anything to avoid having to look out and see how far it is to the next turn, which is...
So they watching film then. Like they
said they remember bumps in the track.
Right. And, you know, the thing is, this is an outside course. So, you know, if it rains, then your whole strategy going in changes. Or, you know, if it's a dry day, or if it's a humid day, all of that plays a part on how they have to perform. Like, how do you predict that? Like, you tell me you can judge bumps? Oh,
that's interesting. I mean, I guess with them being so low, they would you would feel pretty much everything from being at that level. So I guess if you've done the track a certain amount of times, you have a feel for it. So I guess I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Still insane. And
impressive considering that the lap lasts 60 km, 37 miles. As you can imagine, if you need a huge confidence on both sides, the pilot has to trust that the passenger will be in the right place to give him the necessary grip at all.
See, that's what I was just about to ask. Now I remember. Like, do they have like little microphones in there to be able to communicate with each other? Or is it just Jesus take the wheel moment? You just have to, trust your guy like that. Everyone's doing everything that they're supposed to be doing.
I would assume that they both have an intercom situation in the helmets to speak to each other. That'd be, I mean, that just to
It
me that
makes
makes too much
sense,
sense. It makes sense. Yeah.
but at the same time, a lot of these races that we've covered so far, there isn't really a communication system between
Yeah, that's
drivers
true.
and a pit crew or each other,
Yeah,
however you
you're
want to
right
say it.
about that.
So
You're right
so
about
let
that.
let us know in the comments. Are they in communication with each other throughout the race, or is it just hope the training paid off type of situation?
Times, and the passenger for his part has to trust that the pilot makes the correct estimates of line and speed. Passengers are held by specific hand grips. The main one is in the center of the bike. They are caught on this or through the faster areas as well as under braking, which means they have to be quite high up on the bike while the rider rests on the foot pegs. There are also other smaller grips around the sidecar for the cornering sections, as well as a special platform with places for the passenger to rest their foot to really hold on. It's like climbing walls at 150 mph. What also seems crazy is what the driver has to do is not like a car where the grip is more predictable and the balance of the car is quite stable. The biggest change comes when the tires wear out or the fuel is burning, and honestly both things happen slowly and predictably, but not in these vehicles. If the passenger is not exactly in the right place at the right time, the bike will not have the expected grip. So there are really two people driving these sidecars, and the most beastly thing is the huge risk taken by each rider. In fact, many of them have rituals where they hug their families every time they get on the bike for this ride, even for training.
That's so.
There are too many accidents.
They said
many of
even for training, like that's how dangerous it is. That's insane.
And he was just saying there's too many accidents.
Right.
That's kind of crazy.
And like, what type of training can you go through for this? Like, especially as the person, in the passenger seat, the monkey, because it's already hard enough having to deal with the G forces that it takes to be able to drive a vehicle going this fast for this long. But then let alone having to jump around, your grip strength, strengthen your legs to hold yourself balanced throughout that whole time. Like, could you imagine how sore you have to be after doing one of these races?
Especially
Laid up
when
in
you're
bed
like
for a minute.
you're trying to hold yourself on one arm and use your foot to kind of stiffen yourself to make sure you get in a certain position, and it's for an entire race
while taking all the G's that they're taking as well on top of it, the force of gravity. No,
that's kind
which are
of
tragic. So you can imagine the nerves they have when they sit on the starting line. But as we all know, motorsports are dangerous.
Oh, look at that!
Knowing the risk.
That's crazy.
The skill, composure, and dedication of all these pilots demands great respect. One curious thing we didn't know was how they get to race this, where they learn to hang off the side of the sidecar at those speeds. Well, just as karting is the base or school for single-seaters, sidecars also have their miniature versions. They are called Sidecars Mini F1 and they run in karting circuits. The races are great, with hard fights, and there you can clearly see how the passengers move the weight by positioning themselves on the inside of each curve and hanging off the side of the set. And that's all for today, friends. If you want, you can leave me in the comments what interests you in the world of motoring and we can talk about it.
That's crazy. And just from what he was saying and describing the sport itself, it must have more accidents than every other racing sport out there.
Yeah. That's my thing. I'm waiting for us to get a recommendation that isn't crazier than the last. Because each time we get one of these things, it really just makes me bring out like, man, you really are a bitch. You know what I mean? Like I really am. I'm scary as can be. Because you couldn't pay me. You couldn't pay me to do something like that.
I mean, in my 20s, maybe. But not now. Yeah, equilibrium was gone. I'm good. No, thank you.
Look, you start getting older, walking straight becomes a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, hop in the shower, you close your eyes, everything starts getting all twisty sometimes. Yeah, that's a real thing. You get that age, man.
Man, real talk.
Oh man, that was nuts. Once again, everybody. Man, thank y'all for the recommendation. We do go and read every single comment. We might not reply to every comment, but we do read every single comment. So continue giving us some different recommendations of things that we can check out. This was just a demonstration of the world of sidecar. So if there's any like highlights or certain clips of, whatever of it, send us some of those links down below in the comments or give us the title. That way we can search it up and do a reaction to it, man. This was fun. I definitely want to learn some more.
Yes, definitely want to learn some more. And don't forget, 96% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So the real question is, What are you waiting for? Subscribe to the channel, join up with us, become a fanlist just like us, and man, just help us grow this channel to something bigger and better.
Exactly. Well, that's it for us, guys. My name's Zach, my boy.
My name is Nonpfixion.
And we are Real Fan Sports. We'll check y'all next time. Peace.
Peace out.